I was about 12 years old. I usually watch Penguins of Madagascar just to get on with watching SpongeBob. Right after that fucking door show was done, thank heavens, Penguins was on. However, things turned a little strange. Right after the intro, it just skipped the title card and just went right into the episode. It showed the Penguins finding a Ouija board and seeing if it was made by Blowhole. But Private wasn't too sure if they should investigate the Ouija board. As they played it, things get unsettling. The scene cuts to black as the power goes out in New York Zoo, and it fades to a black and white hallway, and it slowly zooms in closer and closer, and cuts to Skipper walking around the zoo and saw a tall shadowy humanoid figure leap from the tall walls around the zoo and vanish into the shadows. Skipper went after it and saw that it had disappeared. It then fades to a door at the top of the stairs. Everything was a mess. There was garbage and junk scattered all over the place. There was even a bright substance carelessly splattered all over the walls. The place was like a basement of sorts. I could hear a faint sound of static in the background growing and growing till it was loud enough to have me hold my ears. The scene zooms into the stairway up to the door. I could hear something behind the door, but I couldn't tell what it was. The scene then changes again to Skipper, Private, Kowalski, and Rico going into the reptile exhibit and finds Clemson, who appeared in the episode, Right-Hand Man. Skipper, surprised to see Clemson returning from Hoboken, tells him to surrender before they knock him silly. Clemson just looks, barely moving. The Penguins just waited for Clemson to make his move, but he just stood there like a statue. Then, this is where I began to feel unnerved and petrified. Clemson slowly cranes toward the Penguins with the most disturbing face he has ever made. He began to writhe and squirm, while he was growing and morphing into a tall humanoid creature, with long mangled hair, sharp, jagged human teeth, bulging bulb-like eyes, and sharp, broken claws that can still slash at flesh and skin. He was skeletally thin and was naked, hobnobbing around with his feet resembling goat-like hooves. The Penguins just stared in fear as the creature made his rounds around the four helpless birds. I could hear the thing make croaking noises as he opened his mouth and twisted his neck with sickening cracks. He held up his hands and let out a disgusting, pig-like screech as he lunged at the horrified penguins. Then it fades back to the door, the anonymous sound still coming from behind it. The door opens and we see a dimly lit room illuminated by one candle. On the shelf was a toy monkey playing the cymbals, which was the source of the sound. It had its back towards the viewer. It slowly zooms into the toy monkey, closer and closer and closer. Then, as it kept zooming, the monkey stops for a couple of minutes. Suddenly, the monkey turns by itself to the viewer, eyes popping out its plastic sockets, teeth baring, blood dripping from its mouth. It cuts closer to the monkey's face, then quickly zooms out from the monkey to the bottom of the steps, and the door slams violently by itself. Then the sound of throat-shredding screams can be heard in the background. It sounded almost as if it's a recording of people being tortured and killed. And it just went to static for the remainder of the show. I just sat there sweating in fear. I could even hear my heart pounding in my chest. I just couldn't comprehend the dread that welded up in my stomach, but I knew something went wrong and I can't repress it. So I tried to prove that it's real and I wasn't making it up. Good thing during my time watching the episode, I took a snapshot of the episode. I still have the picture, and I'll post it on here while I still can. I know people would say that the story is fake, but how can we be sure it's fake or not? How can we be sure that it's just a hoax? Those questions remain a mystery.